Hi y'all.
We're Zach and Annie, a Scotsman and American who met while working as camp counselors.
Then we fell in love, started a family,
And now, after 15 years of living across the US, we recently uprooted our entire lives to move from California to Bonnie, Scotland.
welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a part 2 of a video we've already done before, and that's 10 things we love about the UK. And now we've lived here for 3 months.
Yeah, just over 3 months.
And thought it's a good time to sort of check back in and share what else we've experienced and what we're finding enjoyable. And
Yeah, school holidays over, so we have done all the activities to keep the kids busy over the past 3 months. So it's not that it's changed our perspective, but it's given us more things to think about, and we've explored more areas and done more things. So thought we'd update everybody with 10 more reasons why we're confident we've made the right move.
definitely no regrets.
Yeah.
All right. So number 1 is...
Yeah, it's got to be the family friendly, kid friendly. There are just so many options here.
Yeah, whether it be indoors, like a soft play place.
Pretty key to have an indoor option.
Yeah, if it's raining, which luckily we haven't experienced too much rain, but on those days that we have, it's so nice to be able to go and spend time either in like a jumpy place or an indoor soft play place, which is very much like for Americans, we don't really have these so much. I would say the closest thing is like a McDonald's playground, on long road trips when you would drive and you'd come across one of those huge ones and the kids would be so thrilled. It's like that, but on steroids, like times 10.
When I grew up, there were a couple of like big play places, like Marco's in Edinburgh, and then Coco's, I think it was called, near Fort Kinnaird. But they were like the only ones. Now there's indoor soft play places in pretty much every town. Mm-hmm. We've traveled around a little bit, and they're everywhere, and they're very similar setup, and the kids love them, and they're safe, and they usually have a cafe and stuff. So really good indoor option.
And then as far as outdoors, not only do you have just everything around you, beaches, trails, you also have the most amazing outdoor structures. You would think for a place that rains so much, they wouldn't spend time and energy on these fabulous outdoor play places that are all made of either stone or wood and look like fairy tales.
Yeah, pirate ships, castles, those sort of themed things. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of those now as well. And previously, again, when I was growing up, there used to be 1 or 2, but now again, there's one almost everywhere, and it's the kids absolutely love it. Those ones can get a bit pricey, especially with 3 kids. But yeah, like Annie said, there's a whole bunch of free options as well. Beaches, maybe you have to pay for parking. That's it. Sometimes a couple pounds. But yeah, just exploring nature. And
our second point is the overwhelming sense of peace there is here.
Which was one of our goals.
Yeah, we wanted to sort of escape the hustle and bustle. We love America, please don't get us wrong. The lifestyle over there was fantastic, but it got to a point where we felt just like there was a lot all the time, every day, and we wanted to slow down and just not have as many obligations, I guess, in a sense.
We've never been like big city people. Like, we've never had a desire to live in a city, especially now with kids. And we kind of found in the States, if you're not in or near a big city, you're just in a suburb, and that can feel kind of isolated at times. So the peace and tranquility you get from living in any of the small towns around here,
or villages, and being able to walk into town for your groceries, for everything that you need, is so nice and wonderful. And there's so much scenery on the way to your everyday things that it's an enjoyable experience. And doing those chores, what you think of as chores, is actually something that we like to do and we get to do. The other thing about peace is there's peace as far as it's more quiet over here. Neighbors are quite respectful of each other.
And no power tools in the morning.
So in one of our first videos, we had mentioned how we thought it was funny that people weren't using power tools where we were. And now it's noticeable and it's wonderful. On the weekends, you really don't hear people just going to town at 8 a.m. like in their yards. And there's a sense of tranquility.
Yeah, that was one of the things we mentioned in our early videos, and now having the 3 months here, you're right. Like any weekend morning in the States, you would hear like a weed whacker and a leaf blower like going off around the neighborhood. And I mean, it was fine, but yeah, you get used to it. You just don't hear.
I think you just notice it here when you don't hear it. It's very surreal, actually. Peaceful. And then same thing, there's not as much visual noise. So when you're going down the highways, you don't see big billboards on the side of the highways. There's just greenery around. I'm sure there are probably, when you get closer to the big cities or London, there's probably billboards. But we haven't been down there recently by car. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, there's a few around like advertising new houses being built. But yeah, the ones like the States, they have the giant ones advertising everything.
Yeah.
That's interesting you mentioned that because yeah, I've not really seen any. Even when we drove down to England, like I didn't see a change. Yeah, talking about cars and freeways or motorways. The other thing that I've always known but is really nice to come back to is the accessibility here in the UK, whether that be walking, the public transport. It was surprising to me in the States how kind of poor or how few people use public transport in the States. Like it's really like a car dominant culture, whereas over here, like the buses and trains are used by absolutely everybody, and they have a really good train network.
And it's interesting because even if you do choose to go by car, it's still quite accessible to get pretty much everywhere in the UK and within a few hours. So from coast to coast, if you're going widthwise, that's like 2-hour drive.
Yeah, depends which one. Yeah.
And then from north to south, much longer, but still you can do it in a day easily.
Yeah, the couple of long drive we've done recently, car-wise, just as accessible, but then you've got the added bonus of all that public transport on top, which our kids absolutely love. They love double-decker buses, trains,
and we do more of it, but so far the timing just hasn't quite worked with when we went to pick up our puppy, things like that. We needed to be at a specific time schedule, so we couldn't quite use all the public transport.
But there was an option to use public transport to get those places, which is really nice.
And we look forward to using more of it. One of my favorite things about living here is that there is a time for tea and coffee at any point in the day, and cakes, of course. So whether we're walking the kids to school, hey, on the way home, let's grab a tea.
Yeah.
Or when you get home and people come by, Zach's parents, let's have a coffee and tea and cake.
It was like the most annoying thing for me growing up. Religiously, any day we were out or doing anything, we would stop for tea or coffee at like 10, 11 o'clock. And for someone who doesn't drink hot drinks or enjoy tea or coffee, as a child as well, it's just like, ugh. But it's really nice now. Like there's so many places that will serve delicious treats, tray bakes, cakes, scones, anything you want.
Scones with clotted cream and jam.
So while Annie's enjoying her coffee and scone, at least I can enjoy like
something.
A yummy treat.
A crispy.
Yeah. Like a child. A crispy.
Or millionaire shortbread.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong there. The boys are absolutely loving all the tray bakes, and I am too.
Yeah. And for me, actually, you can have a bacon roll at these places as well, so that's perfect.
Yeah. So going from that, another thing that is at the top of my list are the Cosy Spaces. When you come to the UK, there's not as much space. Everyone knows that. So homes and restaurants, things are typically smaller and have a smaller square footage. And I enjoy that immensely. Just being able to cuddle up on a rainy day and feel like you're in a hug of a room. It's extremely nice, and you can get rooms warm rather quickly, which is great.
Yeah, we actually had this yesterday. We were out and about and got rained on and just sort of dashed into one of the local bars or cafe restaurant places. And yeah, it was like jumping into like a person's home. It was cozy. We were kind of tucked up in a corner. It was raining outside, and Annie was having her coffee. So it was like two of her favorite things rolled into one. And
so nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of times it's a little bit darker. There's just this ambiance, and I love it.
So as we mentioned, with all this beautiful weather we had, we did get caught in the rain yesterday, which we know is going to happen a lot more often.
Yep. As we venture into winter.
Yes.
So.
But it is actually something that we, and Annie specifically, enjoys. Like being inside in our cozy little space while it's raining outside. So
I think for most of the time we were living in California, there was a severe drought to the point where we were getting almost no rain. There was no water in the lakes. The reservoirs were empty. And then you would have to save your water from showers to be able to do any watering in your yard. You couldn't wash your cars. It was a pretty significant drought. And then, of course, fires spurred because of that. So to be able to see rain and enjoy it, and I know at some point it's going to wear on us, but it actually makes me quite happy to see rain. And the green that it brings. It's just, everything is so full of life because it gets the rain that it needs.
yeah.
So seeing plants and flowers just blooming and the colors are vibrant and all the planters are just luscious. It's a sight to take in.
I remember when we first moved to California, we were driving along and Annie saw these golden rolling hills and was like, oh, they're so beautiful. I'm like, why are you obsessing over this dead grass? Like, what? That's not like what? And it's just that is kind of beautiful over there. I mean, it looks nice, but it comes back in the wintertime and stuff. But it's just a completely different landscape because they don't get the rain. So it's nice. Like the grass grows, everything grows back, and yeah.
And I think I missed rain. You probably did too when we moved to California, because my childhoods were in Georgia, and there you'd have these monstrous thunderstorms where you would sit outside, covered of course, and just watch the rain coming down and lightning bolts. It was pretty crazy. So we didn't get that in California ever in a decade of living there.
Not really, yeah, not really.
So over here, although you don't really necessarily get as many thunderstorms, just seeing the heavy rain is fun to watch, and as long as you're not out in it.
We definitely have to do an update on this video in like 5 months. It's like, do we still love the rain?
Everyone's
Annie's
gonna be laughing, just like
Annie's just crying in the corner. I was like, don't you love the rain?
The rain's wonderful.
Another big difference that I was aware of, that Annie's become more aware of, is the difference in British humor. Whether that's like our TV shows or just the way we tell our jokes or the type of jokes we tell, it was definitely an adjustment for Annie, because if you're not acclimatized to it, it can sometimes come off like you're not being very nice, maybe?
Yeah, and I come from, with 3 brothers, I mean, we are all about using sarcasm and quick jabs and teasing. But over here, like when I first met Zach, I honestly didn't know if he was like actually having a go at me, like if he didn't like me. But I got used to it, and I adore his humor, and I find the humor over here refreshing and quite funny. But yeah, you can really tell from when we would watch versions of the British Office versus the US Office.
Yeah, that's like the perfect comparison, because I mean, the first episodes on those are exactly the same, pretty much script, and the difference in the humor is the perfect example of the difference between the US and the UK humor. The US is more like about kind of the sort of build up punchlines, and then the UK is just dry and kind of awkward and hard to watch almost.
I can't. Like you feel it in your bones, some of the things that they're talking about. And I'm like, I can't live that. I can't watch this show anymore.
You'll even get it like with random people that you encounter in the shops or anything. They'll say something and you're like, is he serious, or is that person serious? And they'll laugh. You're like, oh yeah, that was a joke. Yeah, okay, good. Because if someone said that in America, you'd be like, wait a minute, what?
What did I do?
Yeah, I know. It's all in good humor, and it's I don't know. Is it as funny, or how do you find it?
No, I find it really funny. Yeah, I like both humors. Anyone who makes me laugh is at the top of my list. So, however you do it. I guess it's good that I don't have like thin skin.
Yeah.
Because
this never would have happened.
Yeah. Not much offends me. So whether you're making fun of me or just laughing, I probably find it funny too. Yeah. People value privacy over here. So what I do notice is that when you're doing something in the backyard, maybe you're hanging up your laundry, your neighbors in the US would be like, oh, hi! Like,
start talking to you or whatever.
Over the fence, speaking over your fence and talking to you. And I enjoyed that. That's fun, but there's a time and a place for it. And over here, you like catch eyes with your neighbor and everyone looks down.
Yeah, it's kind of
Like,
like,
I mean,
they'll
it depends.
acknowledge you, but then it's like, okay, like, I don't want to interrupt. Like, they're doing their
Exactly.
thing. I'm going to do my thing. Like, and that's fine. That's how they do it. And I like that. And there's not sort of, not there's a pressure, but there's not pressure to always have a conversation like ready to go kind of thing.
The last thing about privacy I wanted to mention was, and the US, you are wrong. We are bad at this. We need to not have stalls where you can see people sitting on the toilet. Why do we have that? Over here, it's not a thing. Stalls go from top down to the bottom. You can't look under them. You'd have to be trying really hard to be looking over them.
Gosh.
And you definitely can't see through them.
That was a weird one when I first went over there. And if you've not been to America, in like public toilets, obviously you have the closed stalls, the doors. There's like a three,
Not that big. At least that. I mean,
enough that you can like with two eyes like see somebody out there,
you have
and they can, if they awkwardly turn, you can make eye contact while you're getting on with things. It is very disconcerting. Whereas you hear the door like overlaps, like you cannot see in unless
even if you're peering, trying to see, there's no gap. When I tried to look through the gap.
Talking about privacy here, Annie. Jeez.
So that was my last point on privacy.
The bathroom stalls is definitely one.
The U.S. needs to get on the program or get with the program and change that. Because since being here, I'm like, that is very odd that we can see.
And I'm trying to think of any logical reason why they don't just make the doors a little wider or like the adjoining bits a little wider just to cover that gap.
So strange. As our kids just started back to school, this is another one that I think is a fabulous idea. And it's just uniforms in private schools, in public schools, or what do you call them?
State schools?
State schools.
Local schools, yeah.
Most schools around our area, at least, use uniforms.
Some form of dress code, yeah. For me, I went to school every day in a uniform, so I liked it. It was kind of like, all right, you're dressed for school. And then when you get home, take the uniform off, put your play clothes on, and you're kind of done with that. And the main thing for me, and I think it's more, Annie will attest to this, not having to think about what you're going to wear as you get older in school, or the pressure of having to like
wear the coolest
designer clothes or whatever. It's just not a thing because everyone's wearing black trousers and a polo shirt and
I love that.
Black shoes or whatever it is.
That would have made my life immensely better throughout all of high school, middle school, not having to try to be cool and try to find outfits with the next newest thing. So I appreciate that for my kids, and I appreciate it for us as well because it makes it so easy. In the morning, it's just, here's this, here's this, here's this. There you go. Yeah. We're sorted.
Yeah, I remember the only time at school we'd not wear a uniform is on like a you donate money to charity and you could wear your own clothes or something like that. And yeah, it was a pain being like, oh, what I need to wear, like this, that, and that. And obviously you shouldn't think like that, but yeah, to have that as a young or teenage girl, like every day must have been quite hard.
It was.
And they're very, very proud to wear them. And
they are.
It just gives a good little sense of community at the school. And you kind of, you see all those little kids running around in this similar looking clothes, and it's just really nice to see. I like it.
I like it too. And the kids on the way to school, we either bike or walk to school every day. And the boys are so happy because there's other schools in our area too. So they'll be like, oh, that one goes to this school and those ones go to our school and this one. So it's a sense of pride.
They do have a little sense of pride for their school, which is nice. So this one, I think we've been spoiled this year, but the UK summers, when they're good, are pretty hard to beat. I know it's said that Scotland has some of the best beaches in the world. We just don't always have the weather to kind of support them. But yeah, we've been spoiled this summer with where we've been, at least. The weather's been on our side like almost every day.
It feels, we have convinced ourselves that we're back in California. It's been that nice.
Yeah.
And to the point where the kids are just in shorts and short sleeve tops every day. They could be wearing sandals. It's been so nice. And then, of course, with the light staying until midnight, I mean, summers are just an incredible time of year. So when we do our next video about things we hate about the UK,
which will include the rain and the British wintertime.
We'll once again watch back and reflect on this video.
No, but it's so nice to be able to use everything that's on your doorstep. Like
the beach.
I remember when I first moved over, we had dogs with us, and I'd walk the dogs, and I always went with a backpack. And it was like hot in Georgia, and the sun was out. And I had a backpack with gloves, a scarf, a rain jacket, and stuff like that. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I mean, it's sunny now, but you never know. She's like,
yes, you do
like,
know.
no, it's sunny now. It'll be sunny all day, all week, probably all month. You might get a day of rain. And so coming back here and being able to just go out as well and be like, it's sunny and like nice all day throughout the summer, which is, spoiled. So,
yep. We also truly enjoy that people value the work-life balance. And when you have a contractor or when you go to a store, you know the hours are going to be between 9 and 4 pretty much.
Or Wednesday and Thursday between 10 and 2, which is what we saw at one of the shops recently, which is really funny.
We've still been trying to get into that shop. We never make it at the right time. But yeah, it is just slower and more quiet. And I like that when someone says that they're going to be here for a job, it's within the work hours, and you don't see people working until 8 or 9 p.m. unless it's more shift work.
And then typically like the end of the week, Friday, they'll sort of stop working a little bit early, and
half days.
That sort of caught us off guard initially, but then we're like, well, I mean, they have to spend time with their family as well, and if they can still get the work done and everything, and then why not? And
I like it because I like it for us too, because we'll benefit from it.
Yeah. Another thing is shops, especially little local shops, will just close on a Sunday, and maybe open the morning Saturday, maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, it's kind of nice just to be like, well, I know I'm not going to get this thing or going shopping on this Sunday or whatever in my little town or village, and you can just enjoy other aspects of life. And it's kind of old-fashioned feeling, but it's so refreshing. And
it is.
You just realize it is helping us slow down, actually. Like, well, I maybe think I need this thing right now, but I can't get it, so that's good. Like, just maybe I don't need it, or maybe it's just good to wait. It's all good though. It's just,
I think it's great for the kids too to see that and to value that time. And to see growing up in a culture where you can have that space and that time and to be with your family. So I think it's all good lessons for all of us.
Yeah. Another one of the sort of many reasons we moved over here, that slower pace and just, spending more time as a family. And 3 months in, so far so good.
Since we've been talking a lot about that family balance, we wanted you to see how Finn's getting on. He is now, 11 weeks? Just about 11
somewhere
weeks.
Around that, yeah.
Yeah. He's getting stronger, fatter.
The vet's happy with how he's progressing. He's still putting on weight, and he's still on some medicine to fix his little tummy issues, but it all looks promising and good. So he's up to mischief, biting the kids' ankles and socks, and
we got him a few more toys.
Doing all the things puppies should be doing. So soon enough he'll be out in the big wide world, and we'll be out walking him around, and
All right, Finn, say until next time.